Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing today? Woo. There we go. Hello. Hi, guys. We're trying a couple different things here to see if this works. Good morning, Jose. Hey, Steffi, Jeremiah, Julie, Clara, Laura, Courtney, if you're still there. Hi, guys. Mhm. I was hoping to go live on this and on Shorts, but that one never seems to be working. It worked like the first time I did it, and then it's not worked since. So I don't know what to do about that. That's fine. Good morning. Hey, Linda. Yeah, it's pretty cold today. It's like, it's that dreary, wet kind of cold. So, hmm. Oh well. We tried. We'll keep trying at some point. But yeah, it's actually been pretty cold. And for me to actually say that is a pretty big deal. But how are you guys doing today? What was the rest of your evening like? 42. Yesterday was a low of 28. That's in Florida? Are you still in Florida, Claire? Or are you in Colorado? Heading to Georgia and Kentucky right now. Ooh. What are you going to Georgia for? It's 37 there. Dang. Oh, you're in Colorado. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. I knew you were in Florida at one point. Lots of rain in Kentucky. There's lots of rain everywhere. Hey, Robbie. In Ohio, it's 43 and raining. Yeah, it's pretty gross, like everywhere. It's pretty gross everywhere. What's it supposed to be here today? 36 in Minnesota. It's 46 here right now. Yeah, look like we're in like the low 40s and then mid to low 60s every day. You're in Florida and the lowest was 55, at least in the Tampa area. Man, people must be freaking out. People must be freaking out. That's like the end of the world in Florida terms. We're in a drought here. We need rain. Where are you right now, Steffi? Just in general, obviously. Tomorrow it's going to be even colder. Dang. Dang. Where is everybody? North Central Indiana. Okay. So are you guys getting rain right now, or are you hoping for rain? Good morning, Angel. Guys, make sure to hit that thumbs up and hit the hearts. That'll push it out to other people too. So you guys still get to tap things. My grandparents live in Jackson, Florida. They would bring out their parkas when it got down to 50. Yeah. Hey, Courtney. It's currently raining in Northeast Ohio. It was in the forecast, but keeps changing his mind. Well, it sounds like every state around you is getting rain. Yeah, it's some good fall colors going on. That's for sure. Look at that. Scary foggy all over Iowa this morning. I just feel bad for Jamaica and Cuba and the Bahamas. Good morning, Lisa. Hey, Kiva. Good morning. Kiva. Oh, wait, we should do this. Kiva. There you go. That was for you. In a weird spot where the weather splits, so it's hot, hit or miss, where we actually get weather. Kiva's in the house. That's right, guys. Keep hitting those hearts. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do, because technically I wasn't supposed to start the like special not political day tomorrow. But since you guys picked Friday, I feel like I should do something. I just haven't had a chance to plan anything. Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually went live here so people in this community could watch it too. He's a good dude. Aw. Yeah, Jordan's a cool dude. I know, but I feel like people need it. I just need to think of something to do. It's not that I won't do it. I just need to see if I can think of something to do. Worst case, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it next week. That is definitely the worst case, which is the plan already. What's up, Aaron? Good morning. Hey, Linda. Yeah, it's in, if you go into my page here on YouTube, it's under live. I think it's called I Got Interviewed or something like that. I forget what it's called. Good morning, Spooky. What's everybody having for their mornings? Are they doing coffee? Discuss any good news that happened this week? The problem with good news is it depends what you consider good. I'm sure there was something. If anyone has any that they want to talk about, I would definitely talk about it tomorrow. Coffee, yogurt, and granola. Coffee and broccoli. There you go. With almond joy creamer. Nice, nice. We have the pumpkin spice creamer. Diet Dr. Pepper. There you go. Now, is it Diet Dr. Pepper or is it Dr. Pepper Zero? Because I am a Dr. Pepper Zero fan. I don't like Diet Dr. Pepper as much. You had dinner with your grandson last night. That's cool. Marriott Hotel coffee for the road. Oh, you definitely need to try Zero, Robbie. Zero is so much better. I shouldn't say so much better. It's better. It's better. Adopted, rescued to pincher. Ooh, that sounds cute. I don't like either diet or zero. I can't stand the sweet. So, with most things, Jeremiah, I would agree with you. Dr. Pepper Zero is different. It is the most authentic tasting zero I have ever tasted in my life, and I normally avoid them like the plague. I highly recommend. If you like Dr. Pepper, you will like Dr. Pepper Zero. That is my statement. Artificial sweeteners mess with your IBS. That's understandable, Aaron. It's definitely understandable. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there were good things that happened. The problem with thinking about whether good, what good things happened is they're not really good. At least the things that I can think of. Have you guys all gone out and voted yet? Have you guys all gone out and voted yet? At least those that can. The Mountain Dew Zero actually is decent too. Yes. So I've tried Mountain Dew Blackberry Zero and I like it. I'm not a fan of like the cream soda vanilla flavoring, not with Dr. Pepper for some reason. So I haven't tried that one. But the blackberry is good if you haven't tried blackberry. How does one vote early in person? Julie, look up. So if you most likely, if you go to your state's election website, there will be a place to search for early voting locations in your area. So like for North Carolina, I just look up the North Carolina election board website and there's a place to search for early voting locations. Mountain Dew is way too sweet in any form. I understand that. We're worried about our attorney general candidate in VA because Dems are always so precious with their protest votes. Yeah, well, yeah. We'll see. I mean, Virginia's going to be interesting because Virginia's dealing with a lot right now. And especially considering how many furloughed government employees live in Virginia. They all have time to get out and vote now. Remember Surge and Jolt? Heck yeah, I do. I look back on them and they were disgusting. So over under on how many times I have to say that that the CR isn't clean. What do you guys think? What do you think the over under is going to be? Jolt was fire. It was fire back in the day. 1,652 times. 8. Remember, we'll have 5 minutes once I start over there. I remember in the early 2000s, they used to have a Dr. Pepper berries and cream. That was my favorite. Yeah. It was pretty low yesterday. Yeah, I mean, the numbers just in general were pretty low yesterday. The numbers on TikTok were pretty low. Normally I get almost to 300 and then it starts gradually going down. I think I barely broke 150 yesterday, so I don't know, man. What was the question? Over under for how many times I have to explain that it's not a clean CR. I think we should guess education. Curious if we would all have the same feeling about 90s soda today if they were all available. An interesting thought. I don't know. Easy 5 billion. If only I got paid like $1 for every time I had to answer it. That would be great. My dog is using his cone of shame as a shelf to hold his Chewy. There you go. I was a big Cherry 7-Up fan. Yeah. For sure. There's every other minute you had to repeat yourself. That's true. It's true. And they're gonna do it again. You like my my title on the top today? I decided to change it up a little bit. I loved orange soda growing up. Crush was probably like, I loved Orange Crush growing up. I still love orange sodas, but I don't drink them anymore because zeros of orange sodas are just ugh. Putting whiskey in my coffee or rum chata to deal with those people. Yeah. Crush. Crush was the primo. I liked the others, but Crush, that was it. Egg prices were down again. Well, yeah, the number of chickens are going, and probably the number of people buying are going down just in general. Like people are just buying less because they can afford less. I think that's the part that people don't that that a lot of people don't seem to get, that are thinking everything's hunky dory. Hey Ash, I see you became Ashhole over here. Less confusing. Yeah, it's all good. No worries. It'll be calm over here. It is a great name. The Mike Johnson shutdown. It's the Mike Johnson shutdown. If they're going to say dumb things, then I'm just going to say it too. My meds have gone up $75 in 28 days. Pharmacists say to expect them to go up again. Yay. Yes, Maureen. Hey, Eleanor. Good morning. Oh, so another thing that I'm going to be doing, just so you guys know, I'm going to be putting, probably start next week, I'm going to be putting a donation or a tip goal. So, because I believe that we're going to get to the point where I can monetize slash have members, and I'm going to do member content, and the member content is going to be like vlogging. So I want to get one of those vlogging cameras that I can hold and use while walking, going for my walk. So I'm gonna have to. Those things are pretty expensive. So yeah, they make special vlogging cameras that come with like a microphone that you can clip on. That you see a lot of I watch quite a few people use it. Do you have to walk too? That's up to you. So, I don't have a Cash app. I'll have to look. I don't know if I have a Cash app. I do PayPal mostly, which there's actually a link down in the description that you can do. But I'll have to look and see if I can. I can put together a Cash app. I've just never had a need for it before. Venmo and PayPal have been most of what I've done. Cash app is pretty simple. I figured it out. That's fair. My house is cold with cold I didn't pay for. I know, isn't it great? Like, we're not using heat at all. Like, we're just bundling up. We're saving money. We're saving as much money. Try not to say the name of the app too many times. Oh, well, yeah, we're not live over there yet, Lisa. So we're good. 10 more minutes. I had to turn on my heat. It about killed me. See, the nice thing about my office is it's kind of small, and my computer and my monitors and my lights really warm it up. I'll like walk out after the live is done, and it'll be like freezing in the rest of the house. Yeah, Lisa. So for the first 30 minutes now of every live, I'm only going to be live on YouTube. So we can have an adult conversation for 30 minutes before we have to deal with the crazy that is over there. I was pleasantly surprised when it was below 80 this morning. Is it like 80 in the morning? That sounds disgusting, Eleanor. Absolutely disgusting. One reason I'm glad I live in a place where heat and hot water is included. That is nice. My husband has to work and gaming set up in a small room. We call it the warming room this time of year. Yeah. Hey, Patrick. Good morning. So we're definitely working our way close to being able to have members. We're at about 2,200 view hours. So we're getting there, guys. I appreciate all of you watching the content. So content's coming out today at noon, but don't forget to watch the one that released on Tuesday if you haven't already, and then share it with people. Especially if you know people in Iowa. You should share it with everybody. So we got to get to 3,000 to open up members. Clearwater, Florida. Want a little electric fireplace for your office? There you go. Hey, Julie. Hey, Philip. Good morning. Turn the heat on because my son was visiting from college. He was sick, so I caved. That's fair. Finally getting cooler here. Hey, you know what? Heck yeah. Right. Give thumbs up if you haven't. And don't forget to tap that heart. That also helps. And you can do other things. It doesn't even have to be hearts. I guess you can like change it to like other stuff. I have no idea how you do it. I've never even tried it before. I need to get out my electric blanket. Yeah. My wife does heated mattress pads and electric blankets. Both my daughter and wife have an electric blanket that they each use. Followed up with Tellerico guy. Got the we have so many requests, so please email at professional blow off. That's fair. I mean, he is a super popular guy, so I completely understand. And unfortunately, I'm not big enough yet to pull off Tellerico. I need to get bigger before I can pull off a Tellerico. And that's fine. I understand. Your electric throws out. Not with that attitude, mister. I have messaged enough people and it's okay. I understand. I'm not going to stop growing. And it's not even that I'm not going to stop trying. I'm not going to worry about getting people. I'm not going to worry about it is more what I'm saying. It is what it is. If I start getting into the tens and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, then I could probably start pulling people. I mean, I can try. I've tried getting Jeff Jackson another time and didn't hear back at all, so I'll try again. Hey, Garpu. Guys, make sure you've hitting that thumbs up. But yeah, I am not feeling like bad. Like I'm not sitting here like being down on myself. I just know people that get as many requests as someone like Tallarico gets will pick the people that have the most reach. They'll take a look at my stuff and just realize that I don't give them enough reach for the time that it would take to do the interview. That's all. It's fine. I mean, he's running for Senate. And maybe if I was a Texas podcaster, that might be different. Beth Andress Beck might be interested. He's running for Massachusetts 6th. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'd be down for sure. 100%. Couple weeks, I'm going to be interviewing a friend that I met just recently, who has grown his platform on addiction recovery. So we're gonna talk to him in a couple weeks, 2.5 weeks. that is being indicted is so crazy. She would be an interesting. I have already reached out to her, Steffi, not heard back. She's a pretty big name. Like she gets on like CNNs and things like that. I would love to interview her. Muting for now. Talk to you guys soon. Okay. Good luck. Good morning, Jennifer. Kat is awesome. I would love to interview Kat. That would be sick. Oh, and by the way, guys, so Tuesday on election day, I'm gonna be live for like most of the day. We're gonna do kind of like what we did last election day. Obviously, it's not as massive of an election, but I figure that's just what I'm gonna do. Is election day is just going to be a long live. Oh, I understand that, Steffi. Like I said, I think it would be amazing. I'm just saying I've already reached out and haven't heard back. So unless you know her or know someone who knows her that can get me an in, it's going to be I can only do what I can do, which is reach out. Really worried about the AG race. Yeah. No, I understand. That one's a tough one, unfortunately. We're providing free school breakfast and lunches on our state ballot this year. Nice. Nice. Clara, next week, I'm going to be posting an interview with someone who's running for governor in Colorado. Are haunted houses still a thing? Probably. Interview Keela Thomas of Oklahoma. She's running against Mark Wayne Mullins. Ooh, yeah, absolutely. I would be down. If you could, Ash, if you could message me like on TikTok or something, that would be really helpful because I'm going to forget the name because too much goes through my head. Have you been following any of the three? I actually don't know any of the people that are heading up the blackout. So I don't I'm not. Oh, we're at 10 o'clock, guys. It's time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I haven't gone to a haunted house in years. Ugh. I just want Mark Wayne out. Seriously. I don't even live in Oklahoma anymore. I would love to see him out. All right, let's see what we getting. Let's see what we getting. Let's go. Good morning, man from the West. Oh, I gotta turn that on for you guys. At least for those that can see it. Where is it? There we go. Absolutely, Pickles. Still not a DNC shutdown. GOP are in majority. Their job to negotiate. They're choosing to do absolutely nothing except vote on the exact same bill again and again and again. "45 Democrats didn't get negotiated with at all, even though that's what the filibuster is there for." So he can say he solves this huge problem. Yeah. He's going to say that he solved the problem that he created with China. That'll be great. No. If you require 7 votes to pass something and the people in the majority refuse to actually interact with them at all and just say, "Here it is, vote for it," that's on the people whose job it is to be leaders and adults and negotiate. The terms are non-negotiable. That's not how a government works. That's not how negotiation works. That's not how adults work, and not clean CR. Clean CR would mean nothing's changed. Things have changed. It's not extortion. It's how the government works every time. When the Democrats are in the majority, they negotiate when they need votes. When the Republicans are in the majority, they negotiate when they need votes. That's how it works. You did a mail-in ballot? Good. Like Obama. They had a filibuster-proof majority at that time. If the Republicans had a filibuster-proof majority, then that would not have been required. Then this whole situation would be moot, and there wouldn't have been a shutdown. The government isn't open. How is the Senate voting against Trump's tariffs? The Congress still runs during a shutdown. I know Democrats are waiting for Republicans to show up. To actually work. The House Republicans have basically been non-existent for the last 4 months. They didn't negotiate. All they did was put the same bill to vote 13 times. That's not negotiating. That's not working. You got to change the bill when it's not going to pass. You don't just put the same thing forward again and again and again and again and again. It's not a clean CR. Clean CR means nothing changed. Things have changed. You do it if it's right? Nope. That's not how it works when you need votes. They need votes. Of course you can. Of course you can. But not if you want to get it passed. Good morning, Kia. Good morning, Mom of 3. If they truly believe in it, you do? No. Because again, doesn't matter. It is actually not a clean CR. Votes shouldn't matter. The people should. Yeah. The Democrats are trying to get the ACA subsidies back. They care about their people. They care about Republicans too, who are going to be the ones affected the most by these ACA subsidies going away. No, this is not even a little bit on the Democrats, Tom. But thanks for playing. Yeah, they expire in December. They set the expiration date. Yeah, you know when the expiration date got set? When they had to negotiate with Republicans in 2021 when they passed it. Yeah, people are getting their premiums now, Anne. So they were good with it? No, it's called compromise. You ever heard of it? Agree to it and complain? No, agree to it and then negotiate to get it expanded later. You negotiate. Jeez, people. Maybe you could try being an adult. ACA isn't healthcare. Chris. You must not know anything about politics if you think that the only reason I'm saying this is because I don't like Trump. Ringlera. You guys, I swear. They're voted. It's the only one that it's a vote. It's a vote. There can't be anything else to it. They're the ones who voted. Swear, all you're doing is listening to Mike Johnson and Thune. You got nothing else. Yeah, well, if they just need 7 votes, they should do the work. And negotiate. Why would the Democrats vote for a CR that they had no part in making? The CR is not a negotiating. It is not a negotiation. Negotiation involves talking. Just throwing something up is not a negotiation. It's not the same. Democrats haven't refused to open the government. Democrats just want to be negotiated with to get their votes, which they have a right to. Oh, it definitely 100% is not the Democrats, Chris. No, you just sit there and ignore it. See, I can do it too. If you're unwilling to see the nuance in the problem and in the situation, I don't know what to tell you. It's not the same CR as they voted in March. Clara. Oh, a lot. They're taking count. Again, Mark, you obviously don't know how negotiation works. We're going to talk about how negotiation works again. Aw, bye, David. Grow up, you child. Let's talk about how negotiation works. One group puts forth something. The other side, who the majority needs votes is, says no. So they put out their ideal bill. The majority says no. So then they come together and they negotiate. They find compromise. That's how negotiation works. Duh. That's how negotiation works. No, Dems want to negotiate. Negotiate involves talking. The Republicans aren't talking. They're just putting the same bill forth again and again and again and again. Majority does not always rule when you need minority votes. That's why the filibuster exists. If the Republicans wanted to, they could get rid of the filibuster and vote this through right now. There's a reason they don't, because they want to have negotiating power when they're in the minority. You're right. It is not enshrined in the Constitution. It's a Senate rule that the majority can get rid of. Same is true for Democrats. Right. And the reason they keep it is because they know that it's valuable for the minority to have negotiating power and require the majority to negotiate with them. Yep. Farmer, that doesn't even make sense. Literally, nothing you said makes sense. Oh, gosh. Good morning, Emma. How are things in Alaska? Thanks, Sally. Why would we get out and vote red? Republicans don't care about America. Thanks, Yeet. I agree, Liz. I think Emil could break it down for the GOP, but there's no one can get it. Eleanor. Ah! By the way, for everyone over here, just so you know, I go live here and on the tube at the same time. If you like what we do here and you want to not have things filtered all the time and hang out with some cool people, you should go over there. I also post things every Tuesday and Thursday. So one's coming out today. One came out 2 days ago. You should watch those. At noon today, today's episode is coming out. The Republicans can open the government. All they have to do is get rid of the filibuster. Why don't they do that? The Republicans can do it. The Republicans could pass this CR right now. Why don't they? Why don't they? Thank you, Ash. I appreciate you. And by the way, if you're over here, please tap that nose. If you're over on TikTok, please tap the nose. It pushes it out to more people. Follow. Join the team. Share. Tapping is clapping. The CR has not passed. Not if it needs votes. Not if it needs people's votes to get it passed. It hasn't passed anything. Just sitting there. I have seen the USDA website. Yep. Vote yes on 50. Thank you, Yeet. Appreciate that. Have Ms. Rachel break down civics. Again, the Republicans could pass this right now. All they have to do is get rid of the filibuster. Why don't they? Why don't they? All the Republicans could get rid of the filibuster like that. And then they could pass the CR. They could pass their own budget bills without any Democrat support. Why don't they? No, I don't believe that they should remove any voice the minority party has. But the point of the filibuster is to make it required for negotiating to happen. The GOP aren't negotiating. I'm saying if you're going to sit here and blame one party for doing it, blame the party that has the power to pass it right now and is doing neither thing that is required to pass a bill. So I think that they will agree to negotiate once the new premiums come out. No thanks, Arturo. I mean, you're never going to get full agreement, Muffin, but they need to talk in order to get any agreement. If healthcare hadn't been added, they wouldn't have needed Democrats to pass it. No, they would always need Democrats to pass it. Because you always need 60 votes to pass things like CRs and legislation. There's always a filibuster. You're right, it's not a clean CR. That is true. Hey, Patty. And again, it is a continuing resolution. Just don't call it a clean one. It's not. Correct. The fact is the last 6 of the last 7 shutdowns have been when the Republicans have owned the House and the Senate. And some of them have been when they've owned all 3. Can't talk about it when half the house is vacationing. Truth. Guys, if you're over on TikTok, please keep tapping. Tap, 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 tap. It really helps push it out. Joining the team also helps. They did not say that, McDoogie. They did not say that at all. In fact. Not even a little bit. In fact. It is not the same CR from 6 months ago. Is PBS still being funded? No. Then it's not the same. Is USAID being funded? No. Then it's still not the same. Hey, Spear. Again, pork rinds. Why would the Democrats vote for something that they had no part in when their vote is needed to pass something? The bill was already passed. Nothing's been passed. Interesting. Hope. Yes, it does. Especially since the blackout. Um, 6 of the last 7 government shutdowns have been when the Democrats or when the Republicans have owned both the House and the Senate. 6 of the last 7. And the only one that Democrats had a majority in was under Obama, when the Republicans owned the Senate and the Democrats owned the House. 6-7. Yeah, 6-7. Control isn't all that's needed. Negotiation is needed. What it shows is that when the Republicans are in power, they choose not to ever negotiate, which causes shutdowns. When the Democrats are in the majority, they negotiate to get things passed. No, it's not because they cave, it's because they negotiate. I'm not your son. $18 times in 2 hours? Really, Julie? Dang. Oh yeah, Johnson lying about Snap too. Yeah, that was great. By the way, if you're over here on TikTok and you like what we do, I'm also live over on the Tube. It's a much cooler place to be, and we're trying to grow over there. So any help would be much appreciated. We're trying to get view hours on things. Correct. Silent Mayhem. Actually, both Republican senators and Democrats together have worked on a bill to get SNAP payments to go out, and Thune is refusing to put the bill forth. Hawley actually put forth a bipartisan bill to make it so they could get SNAP benefits going out, and Thune, at least as up to this point, is refusing to put that bill forth. Not that it could pass, because the House is still in recess. Hey, Gerber Daisy. It is true about Snap. Steven, that is the dumbest statement I've ever seen. Grow up. What is wrong with you people? Are you all 5 years old? Because you must all be 5 years old, because only 5-year-olds would come into someone's live and make the dumbest statements possible that y'all are making. No, it doesn't need to be fully reopened. They have the capability of funding Snap while still working on other things. They just don't want to because they want the pressure. It's already been talked about that JD Vance said to not put forth a bill to fund Snap because they know it puts pressure on Democrats. House Democrats didn't pass the CR. What's up, buddy?
I was actually just enjoying some of these comments. The legislation did pass in the House. Do you have any idea how legislation passes in this country?
No.
No, it's stunning. Now, I don't know whether it's willful ignorance or just plain ignorance. Probably a mixture of both.
Why?
You know, I'd like everybody to take a step back in the old time machine, as Mr. Peabody used to say. Who knows who Mr. Peabody is? You have to be of a certain age. So check back in the old time machine and go back to 2018. What happened in 2018? Well, the Democrats swept the midterms in a landslide victory. And why was that? That was really only for one reason. In 2017, the Republicans failed to end Obamacare. Famously, John McCain put his thumbs down. We all remember that. Now keep this in mind. They failed to end Obamacare. As of this Saturday, they will succeed, unless they come to the table, They will succeed, and everybody on the Affordable Care Act will see at least a 100% increase in their premiums. And yes, I have a source for that, the Kaiser Foundation, which is the Bible of studying healthcare. Now, if Donald Trump suffered that much of a defeat, even though the Affordable Care Act wasn't touched, how much is this going to hurt him? I mean, it is amazing how they are walking into an electoral disaster. Not to mention 42 million people having their SNAP benefits at least delayed. They'll get their SNAP benefits, but they're going to be delayed. And being delayed doesn't help you when you're hungry.
Yeah, I've heard about the banks run on banks and grocery stores happening too.
And I saw some lady who's the head of a conglomerate of food banks, and she said something that scared the living hell out of me. She said, we're preparing, but she said the best we can do is provide food for 1 out of 8 meals for the people who are losing their benefits. 1 out of 8 meals.
Kaiser just wants more money. Rates are already set in stone.
Kaiser Foundation is not Kaiser Insurance. Jesus Christ, the stupidity is mind-boggling. I mean, simply mind-boggling. How do you even know how to tie your shoes?
Oh.
I was saying
God almighty.
last night on WRAL. So I'm guessing the teachers, like the state employees, so in North Carolina, the teachers, employees, like through the state, their insurance, and they interviewed a teacher. She said they just got their rates yesterday, and their insurance is tripling.
Yep.
She's like, so that ends up being a pay cut for me. She's like, because even with the little, I think teachers were going to get like a 1% raise or something like that. The amount of how much their insurance is going up is going to be like they're actually getting a pay cut.
Hey, Kayla.
That's right, Kian. Imagine if you had to pay for all of your insurance yourself. Don't forget teachers' health insurance is subsidized, and she's still paying 3 times more. Imagine the people who aren't subsidized, who rely on the Affordable Care Act. And by the way, how many is that? Of the 27 million people on the Affordable Care Act, about 22 million of them get subsidies. And especially if you are over the age of 50, your insurance is going to go up 2.5 to 3 times.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sit here and they argue it's the Democrats' fault. I hadn't seen the USDA, so I went looking for it. Which, Scott, this should make you giggle. I'm sitting here typing furiously, trying to figure out why nothing's popping up on my screen, and I realize because I'm not typing on my laptop, I'm typing on my Bluetooth keyboard that I use for my iPad. But I looked it up, and I saw what it says. Like, isn't that against the law, though? Aren't they not supposed to, like, on government websites, like, talk about, like, they literally said it's the Democrats' fault? Scott, isn't that not
Violation of the Hatch Act.
But again, in order for anything to happen, you need the government to hold itself accountable, which they're not going to. So,
Yep, it's a violation for the Hatch Act, which should set off alarm bells at the DOJ. Oh, wait! Pam Bondi's the head of the DOJ. So the alarm bells have been turned off. Or it should set up alarm bells in Congress. But wait, Mike Johnson's running that show. Don't hold your breath waiting for him to care what Trump. If Trump says jump, he says how high. You heard Trump on the hot mic last week where he said, I'm the Speaker of the House and the President. That must have made Mike Johnson feel good.
oh, look, another person whining that they got muted. No, you're getting blocked.
You know, it's funny because when I looked at that USDA thing underneath the website, the first thing that popped up, it was like a picture with like a map. and it's saying that the USDA federal government office in Clayton, North Carolina is permanently closed. But then when I Google and I look, it says it's open. I'm like, what the hell?
It's gonna be interesting. I think what's more interesting for me is just, so I watched, this is the thing, and I never realized how much politicians have become actors more than actual, like, in general, people that actually do work for the government. Until this government shutdown, and I saw the bald-faced lying that Mike Johnson did, and the most recent speech that Thune did on the floor of the Senate. They are scared out of their mind. And they are saying anything humanly possible to try and guilt Democrats into voting for a bill without talking to them at all. Oh no, Bobby, they are scared out of their minds.
Of course they're scared out of their minds. Let's take a look at the top states that collect subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. Number one by far is the great sunshine state of Florida, followed by Texas, Georgia, Utah, South Carolina, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Nebraska. Now, I think we all know what those states have in common. They are all red states. And D-Day is coming up in 48 hours because on November 1st, everybody on the Affordable Care Act can start looking at what, actually they can look right now. It opened yesterday afternoon. They can look right now, but most people don't. They wait until it's sign-up time. So that's coming on November 1st. And that is what they're scared to DEATH of. Because they know when their people look and they see, and remember, folks, the subsidies, oh, that's them Democrats. They're getting those subsidies. Nope. 3-1 Republican red states get the subsidies by 3-1. They are literally cutting the throats of their own people who are going to find out in 48 hours.
Hitachi, California is by GDP the fourth, is number 4 on the list of GDP. Just California alone.
Which means, Vonda, they will be coming to the table soon. I don't think that this shutdown is going to last that much longer. I just hope it lasts another 48 hours. Because if people got that upset about a failed attempt to take away their health care, imagine how upset they're going to be when they actually see their health care becoming unaffordable. And they will remember that.
David, the leverage they have is the filibuster and the requirement to be negotiated with. Yeah, that's the only leverage that the minority has. When doesn't matter who's the minority. When the Republicans are the minority, that's the only leverage they have. The difference is the Democrats negotiate and compromise, and we've gotten pissed at them for their compromises a lot. The Republicans don't. They do shit like this, which is why 6 out of the last 7 shutdowns have been when the Republicans have been the majority in the House and the Senate. That's what happens when you don't know how to be a leader, when you don't know how to negotiate, when you don't know how to be an adult.
But the women were gonna. So we don't want a woman as a woman as a president because we're too emotional. Isn't that what they say? Go figure.
No, she had a bad laugh. I'd much rather vote for a guy convicted of SA and 34 felonies. You don't want somebody with a bad laugh. Actually, has anybody ever heard Trump laugh at all about anything? I never have.
Did you see him when he was in Japan?
Wandering around aimlessly?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It
Imagine if that
was
was Biden.
good for you, Bobby. Obviously, you don't like facts, but you know, whatever. I don't care. Go laugh somewhere else.
Can I just like that? Just makes me want to be a ninja.
Oh, look, that guy's posted one inane comment after another. He's obviously a very low information voter and low everything else.
Eleanor, there's about 4 different videos all put together. So there's cats, there's fish, and then there's some nature videos. I figured it was boring just to have one, so I made multiple. Hi, April.
By the way, we keep talking about the premiums going up. About 22 states have their own exchange, which is tied to the federal government, but they run it themselves, which they have the right to do. And they have released their actual figures. These figures come from the states themselves, folks. In Maine, family of 4, 130K income, will see an increase over and above what they're paying of $16,100 a year. Kentucky, a family of 4 making $85,000 a year, will see an increase of $23,700. Nevada, 85K, will see an increase of $18,100. Again, this is an increase above what they're already paying. Minnesota, 85,000, will see an increase of $15,500. And Maryland, $85,000, will see an increase of $13,700. I'm not making these up. These statistics came directly from the states themselves.
And I want to be clear. I know, like, you can't. They're not here anymore, but he was convicted of all 34 felonies. Convicted. He wasn't sentenced, but he was convicted. Just want to make that clear.
Yep.
Yeah, but she had a lousy laugh, Mike.
No, not found liable. That's different. That's the SA. He was found liable in civil. He was convicted. Appeal is pending. Doesn't matter.
Yes, David, that is true. He is appealing his conviction, which is his right. Meanwhile, he is still convicted felon.
Yep. Someone said something that I want to. I don't remember. But yes, the Japan thing was an embarrassment. I have never seen someone look so much like the guy he used to make fun of while he was running for office. Again, regardless of who I liked more, the stuff that they got on Joe Biden about, he's doing now.
Yeah, and he used to laugh at Joe Biden for using the short stairs to get on Air Force One. Guess who uses the short stairs now? And he also keeps falling asleep all the time, too. If it were Joe Biden, it would be 24/7 news cycle.
Yep.
The thing is that's insane too is now I will say by the time at the end of his presidency, Biden did definitely look his age. You know what I mean? Sure. But when he first started, it was not like that. That's not how it was. And that's the crazy thing. Like this dude has been like this since January 20th, 2025. He's been acting like that and doing like that. And the fact that they sit here and they still keep thinking he's great, I'm like, are you serious?
You know, you're right, Kia. And Look, message to the American people, Democrat and Republican. Enough with electing 80-year-olds. Enough. Enough. The job is hard for a 50-year-old to do.
Yeah. Hey, Patty.
Yeah, but yeah, Vonda, they all age old. They all age old. They all get a lot older when they're president. I've never seen a president not age in office. It's a 24/7 job. Well, not for this guy, but for most presidents, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah, Obama's hair went from black to white. But it's got to be, because I mean the job of the president of the United States is not an easy one, for sure. It shouldn't be. And it's like what's happening, it's just like it's making I almost feel like we're living in a parody of real life. Like, this is not real, right?
Well, on this, I really do believe that there will be an agreement. Once those rates are published and people start seeing what they're going to be paying, and as politically speaking now, just politically speaking, not morally, once 42 million people who, again, don't pay attention to politics, on Saturday, November 1st, they go food shopping and try and use their EBT card and find out there's nothing on it, you're going to be seeing something happening. There's 42 million people on SNAP benefits, and there are 27 million people on the ACA. That's a good chunk of the American population, the majority of whom are in red states. And their red state representatives are going to be hearing it loud and clear.
I love when people say that things happened massively. Trump won by one. Trump won the popular vote by 1.5%. That's not massive. He didn't get this, like, it's not like the world just was like, he barely won the swing states.
Yeah, he didn't win a single swing state except for Arizona above 3 points. It was a very close election. And he won the popular vote, as you said, by slightly less than 1.5 points.
Yeah, it was like 1.3 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was just a shade under 1.5.
Yeah, thanks to Elon for paying people.
I'll say, just in case for those who don't really know, like when it comes to SNAP, just to put some information out there, like in North Carolina, the day you get your SNAP benefits depends on the last number of your Social Security number. So it can be anywhere from like the first to like starting with a 1 if you have a 1 at the, so basically if you have a 1 as the last number of your Social Security number, you get your SNAP at the beginning of the month, and then it spaces out. Like with mine having a 0 at the end, you don't get your benefits until like the 22nd or the 23rd of the month. So I'm curious, if I'm hoping that people who were able to at least get theirs, their benefits towards the later end of October, had enough to be able to try to hopefully maybe, oh my gosh, get off of that, get, we'll have enough to hopefully make it through and hopefully this shit is done in the next few weeks. That's the only thing I can be hopeful for. No, in my state it's by Social Security number. In my state, that's what I'm saying. Each state does different things. Yeah, so it's different, but in my county in North Carolina, it depends on your last number of your social security number.
Eric, what would you say is a fair compromise? Over on the tube is asking. ACA subsidies. That's it for a year. That's what I would say is a fair compromise for now.
Yeah, the Democrats, and I sort of disagree with them on this, but they made their decision, and it's fine. They only asked for one thing. They didn't ask for the moon. They asked to keep the subsidies exactly as they were this year, exactly as they were last year, exactly as they were the year before. No bump, no nothing, just keep everything the same. That's what the Democrats asked for. And remember, the last time the Republicans tried to screw with the ACA, they lost 41 seats in the House. And that is a failed attempt. They weren't even able to mess with the ACA, and people were so angry that they threw the Republicans out wholesale in the midterms of 2018. This is one of the dumbest political moves I've ever seen.
The amount that flipped in the House was practically unheard of for this time of year. Because we've talked about it. We've talked what number of house seats are actually flippable. There's a reason that the House is really close in general. It's because there are less flippable seats than there used to be.
Yeah, approximately 90% of the House seats are, the contest is really the primary. It's not the general election. So only 10% of the House seats, or about 43 seats, are truly in play.
Why are we testing? I mean, I don't know what's involved in keeping our arsenal up to date. So I can't speak on that, Bien.
Well, the last time that that we conducted a nuclear test was 1992, as the first President Bush was about to leave office. And both Russia and China, although Russia has been accused of cheating, both Russia and China have not conducted any nuclear tests since that time either. Again, Russia's been accused of cheating. So I can't really speak to that. What I find interesting is not that we will resume testing. It's that the president couldn't even articulate a reason why we wanted to continue testing.
No, because he spent all of his time talking about magnets and I have never seen a man so obsessed with not liking magnets on aircraft carriers in my entire life. It's when he's like, all right, I'm gonna ask everyone here who likes, like, doing an unofficial poll during a speech in Japan on whether people like whatever some of them use or what he wants to go back to, and magnets. It's crazy. What happens when you put them in water? They stop working. Hey, Dr. Derg. He did. I can barely hear you, by the way. I don't know if you're covering the mic.
How about now?
I can hear you better. But yes, he really said that.
I was literally using Penelope's back to hold my phone, so she's laying on my chest.
No, magnets do not stop working in water. Especially not the kind that they're talking that they use as elevators and catapults in aircraft carriers.
Somebody in chat, a user blah 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 blah, said, "What about the 13 times the Democrats voted no on reopening the government?" They voted no because the Republicans refused to negotiate and said, "Well, how about now? Have you had enough?" No. Have you had enough? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. They refused to negotiate. They are still refusing to negotiate. There's nothing terribly complex about this.
Yeah. How'd AOC score on the dementia test? Ah! Oh, how do people not get it? They don't want to get it. They don't want to negotiate. And when you don't want to negotiate, this is how you're gonna argue. That's just a fact. They don't want to negotiate, and because they don't want to negotiate, this is what their argument is. This argument is not a surprise. Anyone that thinks that this is a surprise, this is exactly what all of us knew was going to happen when we realized that there was no, like, the Republicans were not going to negotiate like it was necessary to pass something. This is exactly what we knew was going to happen. Just like what happened after they passed the first CR, we knew was going to happen, and we wanted them to fight it. And why everyone was so pissed. Because they don't care about the people that are being hurt. Even if the people that are being hurt are themselves. They don't care about themselves either. Did you hear yodeling in the music? Maybe. I don't know. I just got a playlist going.
Struggle with music that doesn't have words. Makes my brain go insane. I can't hear it when I'm in the box, though.
It's the only kind that you can potentially get through on the tube, so. By the way, everyone that's over here, just so you know, I'm live here and I'm live over on the tube at the same time. I go live five days a week, Monday through Friday. I also go live over on the tube for 30 minutes before I go live here. So I go live on the tube at 9:30, and then we go live on TikTok at 10. So you should join over there. You should watch the videos. One which is coming out today in about an hour. Because we're trying to get to the point where I can survive doing this. So if you like what we do here, please, any help would be extremely grateful. That's right. You're right. GGGG.
Jasmine Crockett was talking about her last night. So Jasmine Crockett did a live on TikTok last night. She's in California, getting a message out about voting for 50. Is it Prop 50 or whatever? Proposition 50?
Prop 50, yep.
Yep. And then she talked about Mikey Sherrill. She said, vote for Mikey Sherrill. I think she said she's getting ready to go to Tennessee to help boost a Democratic person running there. I think it's Tennessee. Somewhere like in the Midwest. She said she was going to go help boost. And she did like a breakdown. When I caught it, it was like the last 30 minutes. And she was talking about, the whole redistricting thing that happened in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, a lot of people don't understand that. She's like, they just think it's the 5 seats. She's like, they don't realize that out of the 38 million people, 37 million people's things were actually affected, because they changed not just how they did the redistricting. It moved 37 million people around into different districts and stuff. She's like, so a lot of people just hear the 5 seats and they don't realize how much in the state of Texas has all been moved around. So she was saying, she's curious to see how that's going to work out, whether or not that's going to work out in their favor.
Yeah.
She talked about when I first joined, it was the whole, she kind of went in on that conversation about, the Democratic, why is the GOP, like what's like really happening, the whole reasoning behind the shutdown, what's, being done, what's being said. But man, the chat was crazy. At one point, there was like 7,000 people in there.
By the way, for anyone new that came in, just so you know, Tuesday is election day. I will be going, I will be live a good chunk of the day. I don't know. Who knows how long I'll end up going, but it's not going to be. I'm not going to just end. We're gonna keep an eye on things that are going on the voting, especially since there are two big, major elections going on in Virginia and New Jersey. So
there's multiple thousands of elections happening. So please check and see if you have local elections for city council. I saw there's like little mayors in some of the little towns, school board. So please check all across the country. Every state has some kind of election going on.
see you, Patty.
What else did she talk about? She was like, I know, she's like, they can sit there and keep us out. She's like, but that don't mean we have to stop working. And she's like, and I'm going to keep working. She's like, so she had her team was like sending her questions, I guess, from people, and she was like answering questions. Yep. I'm like, so there you go. You still work for the people. Let people see you still doing what you're supposed to be doing.
So why is it the GOP or the Dem shutdown? Why not ever our employees aren't working for us? It's a GOP shutdown because the GOP are the majority and the ones responsible for getting legislation passed. In this case, I'm more than willing to blame whoever is necessary, but the fact is the GOP don't care that our employees aren't working. They pretend to care, and in fact, I'm sure to an extent they do because they realize that it's going to hurt them in the long run. What do the Dems want to open the government? 1 year of the ACA subsidies back. They've said it. They've literally said it.
I was listening to, and I didn't catch who the person that was speaking because when I came back into my room on my phone, they were already going. But Steve was playing, there was somebody interviewing somebody, and they were talking about the shutdown. And the one lady that was speaking, she was like, she's like, the GOP for 15 years has been saying that they're going to they're going to have a better plan. They're going to replace repeal the ACA and fix it. And she's like, so why are they surprised that we don't trust them? That here it is 15 years later, they still don't have any kind of plans that they're talking about, and all they're trying to do is take stuff away from people. She's like, how is that supposed to make anything better?
McDougie, subsidies for people that use the ACA to find their health insurance in their state, not for millionaires.
And the subsidies are based on income level. Millionaires don't get subsidies.
No, the Dems aren't setting conditions. The Dems just want to be negotiated with, which is the requirement of the GOP, because that's what the filibuster requires. The filibuster's there to require the majority to negotiate with the minority. The GOP have chosen to not negotiate at all. So instead, the Democrats have said, since you won't negotiate, we will tell you what the minimum that we will accept is to. We are putting out the negotiation to the public because they're not willing to talk in private. They're not willing to actually negotiate. So they said, fine, you're not willing to negotiate in good faith. We will put out there. This is the minimum that we will accept, because that's how negotiations work, people. Again, I don't understand why you think that just because you don't like it, you don't agree with it, whatever, that we can just ignore how our government has worked and works, and how negotiation works, and how being an adult works, and how being a leader works.
Doctor had an example on the other side. They said, I have private insurance and I need the ACA to stay solvent so that I can keep paying lower premiums instead of thousands a month, as an example.
And McDougie, I don't know how much more clear we can say it. The subsidies that we're talking about are for people that use the ACA to get health insurance. And that is all based on, and those subsidies go for people that, based on income. People that high income do not get those subsidies. This is for like people that make $60,000 or less. Maureen.
Well, the subsidies are also designed by the cost of living in your state.
He just got them. He did not bring in trillions from other countries at all. And pledging means nothing. There's nothing on paper. That's the point. That's the problem.
The other thing about that, though, is obviously when you make comments like that, I guess that means that you don't know that if they're bringing in more money, it's because we're paying more money. Like, are you not understanding that?
I mean, there was a whole story on the fact that everything that's going on in China is not what they're making it seem like, because China is dragging their feet on everything, because China doesn't need us.
We need China's rare earths because they are the only country that produces 90% of the world's supply of rare earth materials, which we need for just about everything, certainly in the defense and automotive and technology sector. China does not need us to buy soybeans. As they have already shown, they can go right to South America and buy them. So we started this fight with China, and Trump had to chicken out. He had no choice.
Do I acknowledge that he went to he went to countries? Yes. Yes, I acknowledge he went to countries. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but no, they do not. No, they do not.
Wow.
They literally do not. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, no. That's when I heard that. I heard it. I was vacuuming and I heard the TV say something about, and China has pledged to buy like their first crop of soybeans from us or whatever. Or they're hoping for that to happen. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
China's already opened up other supply chains. They've already signed contracts with Argentina and Brazil. They don't need us.
Here's the other problem. Farms are already shutting down. They're not just going to magically open up again. That's not how it works. The damage the damage has already been done. You can't just snap fingers and all of a sudden everything's fine for these farmers. Not to mention, a lot of these farmers are completely tired of having their ability to trade with other countries be at the hands of any president. I mean, if you were a farmer, would you be okay with the fact that your president, with a snap of a finger, can just decide whether or not you have the ability to send out to make money on most of the stuff you grow?
You know, something else, I kind of a little bit outside of what we normally talk about in this space, but I happened to watch a little bit of RTP's live yesterday, and Covey was sharing some videos about what's happening in Sudan
Oh yeah.
and how bad the effect of not getting any kind of aid and what it's doing. Like, y'all, if you guys don't know what's going on in the Sudan, it makes what's happening in Gaza look like a day at the park. Like, it is. I cried watching those doctors putting those little armbands around those little beautiful black little kids and seeing how thin they were. And just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, they use like this, it's almost like a measuring tape, and it's got colors green, yellow, and red, like basically showing malnourished. And it's just hospitals full of kids. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are starving and being starved there. There's supply chains, like their supplies are literally being on their way there. Like, that one video had me so in my feels. Like, I cried so hard. Please, please, please do some research. And if you're able, please see what you can do to help. It is, it made me really uncomfortable. But then I sat there and I thought, how can I sit here with my fluffy ass self, sit here and say I'm too uncomfortable to watch what's happening to these people? And to know that we just sat there and destroyed all this aid for all these. Why are these? I'm on TikTok.
Did you just call that a hoax, McDoogie? Goodbye.
You're never allowed here again. Bye. The actual fuck. What the actual fuck? The party,
Wrong
it's
with
the
people?
party of pro-life though, right?
Well, yeah, that's how they get around having to worry about it by just deciding that it's not actually real. If it's not real, then it's not a problem.
What the actual? So that's gonna be the next thing. You know, there's people like, what's his name? His last name Jones or whatever. They're always talking about things being a hoax. So you got what he used to say was a hoax. Then when the crazy people that would say what happened in Germany was a hoax. That's just absolutely fucking disgusting.
Mm-hmm. They call themselves that, Patty, but they don't know what it means. the people that did the Crusades also called themselves Christian. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate you.
Hang on. Fancy, why are you sitting there telling one of the mods that they need to go?
She's not. She's talking to the person that McDoogie. She's talking about McDoogie.
They said Fonda needs to go, is her comment.
Why does Vonda need to go?
And then Vonda's sitting here talking about, if you feel it's true, I'll leave. Nah.
Well, if she told Vonda she needs to go, I'd like to see Vonda's response. Vonda can take care of herself pretty good.
True. Like I said, Fancy's seemed to be good most of the live up until this point, so I'm be interested. Vonda's not going in, or Vonda's a mod. Nor did Vonda say anything. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know if I should read Claire's comment. I want to though.
Probably shouldn't.
Yeah, but I agree. I glee. I glee, Clara. Yeah.
Vonda, you know that if anything was ever said that there was a problem, I would talk to you about it. You have not said anything that is a problem. So yeah. You're good. You found the perfect. Hey, Mr. MOBA. You're a mod. There's a reason you're a mod.
Still love Ashhole's name. Every time I see it, she's like, "Oh, I love that name, Ashhole." It's one of my favorites. Makes me giggle. Makes me think of that movie where the little baby is in the Meet the Fockers, and he's like, "Ashhole."
You're embarrassed now? You don't need to be embarrassed. But I can't control what you are, so just know that we all love you. That's why you're here.
So just a couple other comments though, going through the other side of what we were talking about. Like Clara, one of the other things she had said that those trade contracts have closed have been closed worldwide. They're going all around us, and allied relationships are strained. Talking about how that crops can only be stored for so long, and often they are bought on credit. Exactly, that's one of the things I've heard one of the farmers say. Like, you pre-buy all of your stuff. You get all your stuff ahead of time. You can't buy the crops after the end of the season. You have to have it ahead of time to have it planted and ready.
Yep. That's why I said you can't just do what happened and just be like, whoops. It's like what's happening over in the Middle East with that one country that keeps breaking the ceasefire and then being like, whoops, ceasefire's back on.
That shit just makes my ass burn in all kinds of ways. Like,
I think there's a different problem for that one.
But it's like, I get these alerts like, that country did such and such, and then literally 2 hours later or later that day, oh, the ceasefire is back on.
There's a cream for that. It's true. True.
I wish there was a cream for this problem. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's not peace. It's not even a ceasefire if one country can just go, well, the other one did it, so I'm going to literally rain destruction on them and then be like, oh, ceasefire's back. That's the second time they've done it. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not. And that's the thing. It's like, and for me, honestly, I will say, I could be honest and say a lot of the stuff that when it comes to it, I had a general idea about, but I don't have a lot of knowledge. You know what I mean? That's not something that I'm well versed on. So I listen to people talk about it that know what they're talking about. But one of the things for me that I think seems insane is why is it, and maybe this is something I haven't learned, Scott, maybe you know, Mike, maybe you know, somebody in chat on either side, like why is it that we support them the way that we do, that we fund their health care and their free college for their people, and it's like it doesn't seem to be, no matter what that fucker does, we're always like right behind them. Why do we constantly and continuously keep supporting them like we're doing, especially what what the leader is doing right now?
So we technically don't fund all of that stuff. We fund other things, which allows them to use the money that they have for other stuff. Most of what we fund them is for defensive weaponry. That is a vast majority of the funding that we give them is specifically designed for that, based on treaties that we have with them. We have multiple treaties with them.
So we have treaties that say that we will provide them extra funding so that way they can make sure their people all live better than we do.
We have treaties that say we will fund their defense. And why?
Do these treaties not have anything in it like, hey, if you continue to sit there and try to unalive an entire group of human beings, that we're going to stop funding you?
Nope.
Is there nothing? There's like no protections. There's no like, if you do this, then this stops. Like, I mean,
we have the capability of canceling a treaty at any time.
So but I just want to make sure I'm clearly understanding you. And this is my brain, because my brain is like, whoa. So with no kind of rules, no kinds of stopgaps, nothing. There's nothing on it other than we can just decide tomorrow, like, hey, we're not going to fund you no more. But ahead of time, there's not like, hey, if you do this, then this happens. There's no consequences laid out.
I mean, I haven't read all of the treaties all the way through, but not that I know of.
Okay.
Unless Scott knows better than I do.
Mystic Rose, too true.
I'm sorry, I was just on the phone. You had a question?
It was one hell of a question too. We were talking about that country. We're not going to say the name, but that country, and why do we support them in the way that we do? And I was clarifying, because Mike answered in, the way that he knew the best. And I was just clarifying. So like with that aid that we offer that country, there's no like rules attached to it? Like, hey, if you guys do this kind of stuff, we're going to stop funding you?
Well, I assume it begins with an I, the country
Yes.
You're talking about. Yeah. That dates back to 1949 and the founding of the state. And originally, the first two states to recognize it were the Soviet Union and the United States. And there's been a long-standing relationship with that state. Now, being in favor of the Jewish state does not mean that you have to march lockstep with the current government, which I believe has been abhorrent. And there probably should be a price to pay for what they've done. I mean, I read the other day that 20,000 children are no longer alive. There's no justification for that, in my opinion. And I'm a firm supporter of this state in question, but that doesn't mean I support the government. There's a big difference between supporting the concept of the state and supporting the government when they're wrong. Not only wrong, criminally wrong.
Aaron, we don't say it because right now, with it being the kind of topic that it is, it flags the algo. it flags the AI. So just to try to keep them out the way, even though we know they're always there, that's it.
And again, thank you. Here's the thing. I've said this before. There's going to be a lot of changes, I believe, over the next probably couple decades. I don't know how long it's going to take. It really depends on the people. Whether or not, again, how long it will take, I think that country has played their hand too far. And there's a lot of people that I think are souring on the government, at least. And I think you're going to see some major changes coming. When exactly? Not sure. But I think there's going to be a lot of changes in this country and in globally in how we interact with each other because of what's going on right now.
I agree.
But it's not going to happen quickly, unfortunately. Because the world doesn't move quick.
Yeah, and Kiva was saying another place we have these treaties too from when the end of World War II, when Israel was, or when the country was created. And I actually heard one of the other things that was played that I heard this morning was an interaction about that. And they were like, stop associating the leader of the country, kind of like how Scott said, the leadership is not the people. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that the leadership are the ones that are making these decisions to do the things that are happening.
Mhm.
It's not the people. And they told that person, the person, obviously, we know what side they were on, but they just kept, the way they were saying it was just very ignorant.
It's always hard because yes, it is mostly the government as a whole is obviously a problem. But we also know that there are people in that whole state that agree with that government. That's how that government got into power in the first place. So it's not as though it is just the government. Just like we say, you can't just blame an entire, all of Texas did not vote for this. All of Florida, all of, all the different places. All of them didn't do it. So, but some of them did. Just like all of California didn't vote blue.
I get it, but they were saying it more in because the person was using.
No, yeah,
they were using the J word, with the ending in the S interchangeably with the government there, and it was just it was just said in a really gross way.
Oh, sure.
Like, I guess him playing it on the video, she said it much better than I could, but like just to hear the disgusting thing, and you're right. And the thing is, it's like, why do we try so hard? Do I say? I'll just, never mind. Okay, I can't. But it's like, why do we try so hard and go so hard for a country that was, and I get it. Like, I understand that, there needed to be a safe place for them to go. But why don't... Bye, sister. Have a good day. Thanks for your contributions. Why do we not go that hard for countries with people that are brown and black complected? It seems like we're going really hard for that, where they're in an area where a lot of people, it's like, is that why they're okay with continuing to send them money with what's happening in the G place? Like, I think that should have been the very first thing we stopped doing when they started doing this G stuff over there. We should have stopped immediately funding them, period. Because I think, like, if not, we're literally saying it's okay for you to keep doing what we're doing. If you keep giving them, you literally have no consequences for what you're doing. Why are they ever going to stop? If we don't change how we fund them, why are they ever going to stop? Why are they ever going to stop going after that place? Are they ever?
Are they ever? Probably not, unless somebody does. Unless probably unless countries like us actually stand up and yeah. I mean, again, the problem is now is we've created a monster over there. When it really comes down to it, they are an unchecked nuclear power that won't even admit that they have them, which makes them also very dangerous.
Well, there's a reason they can't admit it.
Well, yeah.
They stole the secrets from the United States.
Right.
Really?
Really.
See, this is, like I said, this is not, oh, you were on the phone when I explained it. But I was saying, like, this is not an area I know a lot about. So I like to listen to people talk about it. I just ask questions when I hear things and don't fully understand it.
Well, to be sure, they had great nuclear scientists of their own, but they got a little bit of help.
This is the part that a lot of Americans don't seem to get about them. For all we care, I say we as in the people that actually do, about them in the way that we are supporting them, they don't about us. They don't, not even a little bit. They are so insanely focused and believe that the entire globe is against them, that they have convinced themselves that they can and should do anything humanly possible to prevent their destruction in their mind.
Got you. Thank you. Thank both of you guys.
Yeah, it was when Richard Nixon was president, they went to him and told him that the country in question was now a nuclear power and that they most likely got it from us. Never been proven, of course, and never will be. But that's the nature of spycraft.
Yeah, their version of the CIA is pretty.
Oh, the Mossad is as good as it gets.
Steffi made a good point. On the other side, they said, she said, that is how I hope other countries see us. We are not our current leadership, and I agree.
I think a lot do, but in terms of governments, they can't interact with us that way, so makes it hard.
For sure. I know they were saying something else I was hearing about is the fact of somebody was supposed to be looking into it, because I think at this point there's been 100, was it 150, 170, something like that, United States citizens that have been snatched up in all these ICE raids that they're doing willy-nilly and stuff, and supposed to be looking into that, or something. I don't know who's supposed to be looking into that. I caught that tail end too. But it just makes you, it's like, that is not something, even though I've always had my thoughts about our government, how it worked, I didn't think that in 2025 that this was what we would be dealing with, honestly.
I mean, I agree, and it's the same reason that after the 2024 election, my brain had to, I always thought we were. I think I made a video or I wrote about it. I forget which, and I said, I always thought we were better than this, only to find out that we're not. I think a lot of us thought that because we'd come so far, at least in our minds, it seemed like we'd come so far that we wouldn't be dealing with stuff like this anymore. And the reality is,
that we are just another nation. We are not a shining city on a hill. We never have been. It used to be a conceit, and now it has devolved into farce. We're just another nation. And one thing to remember, every great nation or empire in history has eventually failed. Every single one. The Greeks, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, the Russians, the Germans, the British, the Spanish. Every great nation has eventually failed. And usually from rotting from within. And the Romans, of course.
I want to add to that, because I think if you guys have listened to anything I've said, that I've struggled with our government in this country and the whole idea of it for a very long time. Like, I always, ever since I knew what going into the Constitution, like when I was especially in high school, middle school, I always thought it was really weird that we held so much respect, and I'll just leave it at that. So much respect for a document that legally didn't claim that people that look like me, even as a kid, something about that seemed off. Like, why are the people that were here before the colonizers came, why were they not allowed to vote? And why were they not considered to be part of this land? Why was it that people that were brought here against their will were not considered to be human beings? And the fact that it took a long time for things to change in the Constitution, I've never thought we were a great country. I thought we were a great idea of a country, and I think what the idea of what this country was supposed to be sure sounds great. I just think for me it was just really it was like a slap in the face, because like I tell you guys often, there's so much of this stuff, like the racism and all of that I've known and seen and experienced my whole life, that I knew was still going on. I think I just truly didn't really think that there would be so many people that we would just, it's almost like watching somebody make something in ceramics, and if you make it too wet and it just caves in, and it just feels like we've just totally gotten way too wet in a way of money and politics, and it's literally just caved us in. Scott, kind of like from the inside, it's just wild to me.
yep.
And maybe this is our turn. They've all failed before us. There's nothing given from God that says that this is some sort of special. No, we're just another nation.
I agree, and I hope. That's why I keep my hope for the end of all this is that we look and we see how much of the guardrails have been actually left off in our laws, the Constitution, the way everything's set up. And as we've talked about, like, I know we've talked about it in a fantasy way, but I truly hope that there is like a real push that we make some significant, long-lasting changes to how we govern and run this country. Because if anything, these last 10, 15 years or what have you has shown us a lot of the places that it's shown a lot of the weakest links. And I hope that that something happens to change that.
It will take an awful lot of work, and the way the country is set up right now, I'm not too hopeful that we will do that work. Sorry to be a downer, but I just don't see it with the electorate the way it is now. It will take, unfortunately, some catastrophic event. I don't know what that catastrophic event will be. Another pandemic, a depression, a war. I have no idea what that would be. But great social change and great constitutional change has usually come with the spilling of blood or a catastrophe. The last great change, of course, the rebirth of the nation, was after 1861 to 1865. And then the next was with the Great Depression in 1929. I don't know what it will take, but it will take something of that order of magnitude for us to realize that the guardrails that we thought we had were actually fictitious.
For sure. I think, though, and I think, and it's even in what you're saying, in the Great Rebirth, and it was like very different, and then still so ugly for so many people. It didn't change, and maybe I'm crazy for being hopeful at all. I really hope that as these younger people, even like people mine and Mike's age, as we start getting more into politics and they start getting in there, like, hey, this stuff from a few hundred years ago just doesn't cut it. It needs to be updated. And that's what I really hope for. I hope, because it seems like the younger generations are not so much to just kind of, well, it is what it is, and that's how it's always been, and just kind of really wanting to go with the status quo and not wanting to rock the boat. That's what I think is going to take, is a lot, because I think honestly what's happening right now is a catastrophic event on so many levels. And I think that's the thing, like, as time modernizes, these catastrophic events are going to look different.
Well, Kia, you think it's a catastrophic event. I think it's a catastrophic event. Mike may think it's a catastrophic event, but half the country doesn't. When I'm talking about, there has to be an indisputable catastrophic event. That's the only time in American history that there has been great change. And believe me, with the person we have running the country, we could very well see it. But that's what it's going to take.
What we're seeing right now what's happening right now could easily turn into
absolutely
the kind of catastrophic event that Scott is talking about. But unfortunately, we are at a point where I'd say there are even people on the left, especially ones that are left of center, that don't see what a lot of us see.
True.
In short, you have to have a critical mass of the American people would have to come to a conclusion that needs to be a fundamental reordering of our constitutional system. And we are not anywhere close to that yet.
You have to get, so this is how it works for a lot of people. Things have to feel bad enough that the knowledge of the consequences of standing up, fighting, knowing that there could be consequences, does not feel as bad or worse than what they are currently experiencing. As long as the idea of doing anything and potential consequences from doing those things feels worse than what they are currently experiencing, they will not. Because we are living in a country right now that does not have empathy as a whole. Empathy is what allows a lot of people who aren't experiencing it to still be willing to get out and do something. But you see a lot of younger people that are getting out and doing it? Because a lot of younger people are realizing that they will never own a house. They may never get a job. They are struggling to find a job that pays anything. They're living with this idea that, you know, that they are seeing things get worse all around them and they don't see a path for things getting better, which makes it easier for them to be able to like go, yes, this is, you know, this is worth fighting for, which is why you're seeing young people coming out and fighting and speaking out and trying to do things in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. You're seeing quite a bit of older people doing it because they're realizing that retirement may not happen, or things are getting taken away that have to do with their retirement, or all the work they did could be for naught. So there's a lot of things that are required to really push people to take that step, unfortunately.
Look, this entire construct of the quote American dream, you know, owning your own home, etc., and all the things that go with it, actually has only existed for a very brief time in our entire nation's history. And it only existed as a result of the rest of the world being left prostrate and the United States controlling, with less than 5% of the people, over 50% of the world's GDP. And that existed from the end of the Second World War until the beginning of the century. That was, in many ways, an anomaly brought about not by American ingenuity, but rather the destruction of any potential economic rivals. Russia lay in ashes at the end of the Second World War. Britain was broke. France was a divided, conquered country. Germany was stomped into an antheap. Japan was utterly destroyed. There were no rivals to the United States. So, of course, the middle class blossomed. We made fantastic wealth over a 50-year period. But that's only a 50-year period. And it created this expectations in the American people that the good times would just keep rolling forever and ever. We never foresaw the rise of economic rivals and of military rivals. We didn't foresee that in 1946. But this is what has occurred. So part of this whole American dream thing was a little bit of a misnomer brought about only because of extraordinary circumstances, in that we were alone on top of the heap at the end of a world destroyed by war. So it was a little bit fake all along.
Agree. I think it's time to do the commercial. 11:50.
Okie dokie. Well, folks, this has been a fascinating conversation, as always. And that's thanks to your host, Mike. And if you take a look in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see Mike's name. And right next to that name is what I want you to concentrate on. That's a little orange heart, and I'd like you to tap on that heart. And we all know why. A big giant box is going to drop down. And on the right-hand side of that box, you're going to see 6 small rectangular boxes. Some will be shaded, some won't be shaded at all. You can ignore those, the blank ones. However, some will be shaded in black. Please tap on those little black boxes, because that way your content creator, Mike, gets points. Don't you wish there was something in it for you, though? Of course you do. Well, guess what? You get points, too. He gets points. You get points. Wow, talk about making America wealthy again. Here's your first step. And secondly, we've been talking a lot, Mike talks about it a lot lately, about going over to the tube. And we would like you to try that out. And there's really 2 basic reasons for it. First and foremost is the content. Mike does a lot of long form and short form now content over there. He always has very interesting guests. They have informative discussions that I think you might enjoy. He's interesting. His guests are interesting. They discuss a great many subjects, usually politics, but not always. So I think you might find that's a good way to spend about an hour of your morning, is listening to them. And if you haven't tried one, just try one of them. I think you'll like it and you'll be back for more. But there's a second reason. It's a more pragmatic reason. Let's face it, folks, we don't know what the future of TikTok is. We have no idea what the future of TikTok is. We could be here tomorrow, the next day, and gone the day after that, or it may be 6 months, a year, or maybe nothing will happen at all. The bottom line is we just don't know. And as they say, you should always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So please get used to becoming familiar with Mike's over on the tube. He has the exact same name as he has here. And if you like to follow this podcast live on the tube, there's certain advantages to it. The graphics are a lot better. And also, you don't get filtered. You can say whatever you want. And that, for some of the people in comments, might be really worth it to you. So, bottom line is, give it a shot.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Great job.
Just as a reminder, in 8 minutes, next episode's coming out. And this one's a really good one. We interviewed an author who put out a book/workbook talking about ways to work through grief, specifically using art. And I did the interview with Roche, who you may remember from, she's a military wife. So both of us interviewed her. And it went in a direction I was not expecting, let's put it that way. And at the end, Roche was like, I'm going to buy this workbook. So highly recommend, especially with what we're all going through just in general with the world. It's something to consider. Are you going live today, Kia?
No, I just do. Let's try that again. I go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless something happens on Monday, and then I go Tuesday.
Gotcha.
I realized it was too much for me mentally doing it every day.
That's fair.
It was just too much.
So for those of you that don't also know, I'm working on writing a song, and I'm working with someone on writing it. So that's what I'm going to be working on when I get off, is working on that. So obviously we'll hear more.
Well, that's so exciting. Heck yeah.
Yep, there's a lot of things going on. And I said this before, it's probably going to go up next week. One of the things that I want to do, because we're getting close to being able to have members over on the tube. Aw, hey kitty. Members on the tube. And what I want to do for member content is like vlogs. So I want to get one of those vlogging things with a microphone. So when I go on walks, I'll do a vlog. So I'm going to be putting up a fundraising thing towards that on the tube, that so you can give towards that if that's something you want to do. How much will it be? It'll probably be, I don't know yet. I don't know.
I know you could do tiers too.
Yeah, you can do I'll let you guys know once I can look at it all, because I can't look at anything now. So I've never done it before over there, so I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people do somewhere around like $6, $5-6, something like that. But we'll have to see. It's not going to be like it is here on TikTok, I mean.
Yeah, I wanted to just share you guys. I just wanted you guys to see kitties. I figured at the end of a long conversation, like, how can looking at some kittens not just brighten your day?
They look so thin for cats. I'm used to seeing cats look much heavier.
And Ash, yes, I will. Me and the person that I'm writing it will probably both be singing it. So she's a singer as well. I used to sing. For those of you that are new, I used to sing full time as on stream. I used to stream singing full time. So I sing every once in a while here. but not as much as it used to, just because it's a lot of work to do it, and I don't know.
I like when you sing. I remember the first time I heard you sing "Happy Birthday," and and it was so special to me. And then when you did that live and you sang a bunch of songs, that was really cool. Used to Scott's cat, who's like looks like he weighs like the size of a small dog, and I've got kittens, so I think all 8 of the kittens don't weigh as much as the bee weighs.
Luis's cat is the size of a small elephant.
You vote. I mean, again, for members, we could definitely do something like that, Steffi. 100%. I'd be open to something like that. I want there to be a good number of people in things for the amount of work that it requires to do. Because again, the problem is every new thing that I do takes work. So it's got to be unless I can magically get sponsorships that make it possible for me to do this full time. It's always a balance between the amount of work it takes and the benefit. So, aw, thanks, Steffi. Honestly, that actually means a lot.
I'm really excited. You would be the only membership I would be willing. Oh, that's great, Steffi. Yeah, the fellow muckers, the muckers on the other side. So just to let you guys know, if you ever get cool enough, you think you're cool enough to come hang out with us on the other side, we are the muckers, okay? Where you run the risk of seeing Kitty today. Surprisingly, they did not. They were on my laptop instead. I had 687 characters out of 2,000 in a Google search. I had to clear out, but they stayed. They're starting to wake up now. It's lunchtime.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get off because it's 11:59. So by the time I'm done, you should be able to watch the new episode. So you should go and watch it. Thank you guys for coming up here. You guys are awesome. Can you? Yes, you absolutely can join. Oh, Kia's? Yeah, I'm sure Kia would get you that stuff. For sure. Thank you guys for being up here. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what I could do tomorrow and make it not be, because I wasn't planning on doing the more freeformy Friday thing this week because I started talking about it midweek. So we'll see about what tomorrow looks like. Next week, definitely Friday's going to end up being different. I'm going to see if I can think of something to do tomorrow. Either way,
Can we play the word game, please, sometime? Even if you set it up, that's one of my requests, please.
Sure. Okay, you guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. You guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love y'all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys. Goodbye, YouTube.